This is James Holder for iFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got none other than the body snatcher, Dillian Whyte. It's been a little while since we've had you on the channel, Dillian. How are you, mate?
Did you video the first part? Love me.
I did. Got you.
Love me. No. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Just been training, relaxing. Just waiting for Fast Guard to pull some dates out. You know what I mean? It's a lot of big things is happening behind the scenes, so just waiting for everything to get done and made, man.
Now, you was meant to be in action on June the 3rd against Marius Wack. That fight hasn't taken place due to yourself suffering a little bit of an injury in a niggle. Can you talk to us a little bit about that firstly?
Yeah, I injured myself whacking off. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, you know what it is? Listen, as a pro, especially a big 18 stone plus guy running and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I had a little sprain on my foot basically running. I twisted my ankle. And I had to wear one of those space boots, one of those big boots. I met Eddie and I met Eddie, and Eddie saw the boot and panicked a bit. He was like, "Oh shit, you know, we're very close to a world title. We can't be taking any chances like that." You know what I mean? So, you know, we call a time out on that one. You know, push it back to July 1st. But then a lot changed in between then. You know.
What has been them changes you mentioned? What is there anything you can allude to? What's been going on behind the scenes?
Well, as Eddie, you tell yourself, we're chasing the world title. I'm very close to chasing the world title. And then the opportunity to fight Joseph Parker came up. And I jumped at it, you know what I mean? Because Parker is the weakest champion ever. You know what I mean? So the opportunity came up. I jumped at it. I said, yeah, I'll fight Parker. We were just talking about maybe fighting Parker July, September time. So I was like, alright, cool, I'll jump into that. But then, because of the Parker US situation, there's a lot going on. So I said to Eddie, listen, make this as a rematch. I'll fight Cesaro on the 1st of July. I agreed to the fight. As far as I know, the fight was going to take place. I started to get ready for it. And then next thing I know, the fight didn't happen. I don't know if they couldn't reach terms or whatever. So I don't know what happened there, you know what I mean? But I really was looking forward to that Cesaro fight, you know what I mean? I was looking forward to that, you know what I mean? The Elena's fight didn't happen, you know what I mean? My fight got pulled because of injury. So I was like, okay. I said, Eddie, it makes sense. It's a big fight. We do good numbers on the TV. Let's get it done.
I was scheduled to go to Finland for Derek Chisora versus Robert Helenius 2. When that fight didn't happen, I said the rumour mill was speculating that it could potentially be yourself and Chisora. So from your point of view, did you sign off on that fight, or was it a case of just telling Eddie that you would accept the fight?
From my and my team's opinion, we signed off on the fight. We was ready for the fight. We was up for the fight because, you know what I mean, I've been in that water before and tested it. So I was ready. I was up for the fight. I was already in training. I had to take a couple of weeks of training because of my foot, but I was up for the fight. You know what I mean? I said to Eddie, listen, get the fight made, but for some reason it didn't get made. I don't know whether they couldn't come to terms. Like, you know, when there's different promoters and different management, and so sometimes these fights get a bit technical and stuff happen and they don't come off, you know what I mean? It's a business as well as it is a sport, so sometimes little things get in the way of these fights happening, you know?
You mentioned obviously Joseph Parker. He didn't look the best. He fought on May the 5th. He was scheduled to face Hughie Fury. He got the win against the opponent they brought in at last minute. Obviously, does that make you more appealing, that Joseph Parker fight, to you, having seen that performance?
Listen, I've always wanted to fight Joseph Parker. I believe, if you watch when he fought Carlos Takam, I was in the studio commenting that fight, and I actually said, listen, I'll fight Joseph Parker tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I've never been really impressed with him. Let's be honest, he's got quick hands. He ain't got a lot of power, and his defense is terrible. His defense is absolutely terrible. I believe I'll knock Joseph Parker out. You know what I mean? It's a fight I want, you know, become world champion, and then go after the rematch with Anthony Joshua as the world champion unification fight.
You mentioned Anthony Joshua. We haven't spoke about his win over Klitschko. Dramatic fashion, stopping Klitschko in the 11th round, having been on the canvas himself. What was your reaction to that fight?
It was a very good fight. As a boxing fan, that fight was good, but it shows a lot of weakness and a lot of holes in his game as well. But Klitschko just wasn't, I don't know, he showed up on fight. At times in the fight, Klitschko looked like he really won it, and then at times he just looked like he didn't really want to go the extra mile, because when he knocked Joshua down, Joshua took about 3-4 rounds to recover, and it's like he wasn't going for it. It was like he was posturing like he wanted to go for the knockout, but then he wasn't really doing what was necessary. And Joshua just came back and just started swinging for the heels and took him out. You know, even in the fight, Klitschko was in better physical condition than Joshua was, even though Joshua actually stopped Klitschko. You know, so Klitschko just, I don't know if it's age or whatever. You know, listen, let's be honest. You've been in the game for so long. You've achieved so much. What more is there for you to achieve? You know what I mean? I just think that hunger. You know, actually, that's a bit unfair saying the hunger wasn't there because he showed it in stages of the fights, but that dog in him wasn't there. You know, like his brother Vitaly's got that nastiness in him. If that was Vitaly, and Vitaly dropped Joshua, Vitaly would have gone for the finish. Vladimir was seemed to be holding himself back a bit. I don't know what they was telling him in the corner. If I was in the corner, if Emmanuel Schroeder was in the corner, Emmanuel Schroeder would have been shouting at him and saying, "Listen, go out there and get the job done. Stop messing." You know what I mean? But that's the level between Emmanuel Stewart and Emmanuel Stewart protege. It's a massive difference. You know what I mean? If you go back and look at some of the fights where Emmanuel Stewart is swearing at Vladimir, swearing at Lennox, you know what I mean? Actually telling him, "Listen, go out there and get the job done." Even, I think, what fight was it? Vladimir was fighting and Emmanuel Stewart saying, "Forget boxing, go and fight. Go out there and fight this." His words was, "Go out there and fight this motherfucker." That was Emmanuel Stewart's word. He goes, "Stop all this bullshit boxing. Go out there and fight this motherfucker," you know. And I think that's what was missing. When he needed an extra push and an extra drive, Emmanuel Stewart wasn't there to give it to him.
Having shared a ring with Joshua and experienced the power that he carries, having been in the Klitschko camp and having sparred Klitschko no doubt many times, was you surprised by the result? Did you expect it to be any different?
I wasn't surprised by the result, to be honest, because I thought Vladimir still possessed enough to win the fight, and he could have won the fight. But I thought, obviously, Joshua being the younger man, you know, being undefeated, I thought that he would have just think to himself, "Listen, I'm the younger man. You know what I mean? I'm more hungry. I got a lot more to achieve. Vladimir's been there and done it so much time. I'm going to go out there and give it a go." And that's sort of what he did. You know what I mean? Vladimir had the experience and the movement. Joshua was struggling to hit Vladimir because Vladimir was moving and shaping and posturing, which, you know, Joshua struggles with movement because he got quick hands but his feet is slow. So Vladimir exposed that and showed that, you know what I mean? So, but it was a good fight, man. I was enjoying it. I was in my house going crazy. I was just going nuts about the fight.
We've seen potentially some news on the rematch, the landscape sort of taking place, not as to where it's going to be just yet, but big fight. Will you have a keen eye on that rematch?
Yeah, but I think it's going to go down the same. I think Joshua stops him earlier this time. I think he'll be a bit more confident in the fight this time, knowing that realistically, all he's going to do to Klitschko is just take the fight to him, because Vladimir don't want to fight. Vladimir just want to keep at range and box. So all he's going to do is just tuck up and walk him down and just chuck bombs at him, and he'll fall apart, you know?
Would you make of the comparison to the way Tyson Fury fought and beat Vladimir Klitschko to the way Anthony Joshua fought and beat Vladimir Klitschko? I know they're two different fights.
Two different styles, two different fights. It's hard to make a comparison because Tyson Fury actually outboxed Vlad at his own game. He actually outboxed him and out-kid him and out-maneuver him, and then Joshua stopped him. Joshua actually had a fight with him and stopped him, you know what I mean? And Tyson Fury showed less holes in his game than what Joshua did, because Joshua actually, I thought that the fight was done and Vladimir hit him, but Vladimir didn't want to go into the pits, you know what I mean? That's why I think I think he's too old, but he showed a lot of ambition. He showed up and he fought, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's crazy. He showed ambition, then he didn't, you know what I mean? It was a little bit strange.
What has been the situation with yourself and current WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder? I've seen some interaction between yourself and Deontay Wilder quite recently on Twitter and stuff. Can you tell us what's been going on there?
Listen, it's a fight I want. As you know, I'm highly ranked in WBC. It's another fight. Deontay Wilder carries power, but boxing ability and technique, he's terrible. He fights like an Olympic breaststroke champion. You know what I mean? He just swings. You know what? Deontay Wilder fights like that because he's scared to get hit. You know what? He panics when he hits you. He panics and go wild and get erratic because he don't want to get hit. I keep calling him out left, right, and centre. He's not responding. I keep telling him, Browne's bomb or a bomb squad or whatever you are. Listen, if you want a weigh-in in the UK, you need to come and talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to say you want the big fights, you know what I mean? I can guarantee you a certain amount of money. Let's get it made. But he don't want to fight. You know what I mean? He don't want to fight me. Trust me, he doesn't want to fight me because he knows I'm a risk. He knows I'm a risk. I mean, you know, he knows if I catch him his chicken legs, he's gonna be doing the the chicken dance. The chicken dance. But Deontay Wilder, listen, like I said, these guys, I'm in a bit, these guys, they don't really want to fight me because I'm high risk for them, Even Eddie himself said, listen, with my promoter Hutton, I do not want you to fight Joshua again, but Joshua wants to fight because he knows that when you two come together, it's a big fight and it sparks interest. So I'm ready to fight. He said he wants to rematch with me a few weeks ago. I said to him, I'm ready whenever you are, son. I'm in better shape now. I'm getting stronger. Thank God I'm injury free at the minute. A few little niggles here and there, but it happens. No one goes into these fights 100%. So I'm ready. It'd be nice if I could be world champion going into that fight because they even things up a bit on the business side. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I want to fight 3 times this year, and I'm ready to go. I'm whatever.
How close do you think realistically you are from getting that rematch with Anthony Joshua? Do you see that potentially as maybe the 3rd fight for yourself at the end of the year?
I don't know, man. This is boxing. Stuff happens, man. This is when I'm top 10 across the board in all the governing bodies. Like, I'm top 10 right across the board. So when you're that highly ranked, it's only a matter of time before the phone rings. So I don't know. I could get a fight with Parker. Get a fight with Deontay Wilder. Get a fight with Joshua. I don't know. I could even fight for the WBA regular title. That's floating around. That's something that I spoke to Eddie about.
Yeah, we'll come on to that a little bit.
But listen, if I get the rematch tomorrow and it makes sense, I'll jump at it tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm trying to focus on becoming world champion. Because once I become world champion, everything changed. My name goes down in the history books forever. And that's what I want. So when kids is looking at stuff and they say, oh, this guy Dillian Whyte, a street kid, come from Jamaica, came up and done it the hard way and become world champion. Why can't I do it? That's more important to me than anything else. So that's why I want to become world champion so bad also,
Do you see flaws when you watch Anthony Joshua box?
Yeah, he's a good athlete. He comes in good shape. He comes to fight, whatever. But you just got to keep the pressure on him and use a bit of movement and keep the pressure on him. And he will make mistakes. He'll make these mistakes. Obviously, he's got good speed and whatever. But if you keep the pressure on him, which is what Vlad didn't do. Vlad didn't keep the pressure on him. If you hurt him, he falls apart. He does recover, but he falls apart. So if you can hurt him and get the pressure on him, then, and he can be outboxed as well because his feet's quite... So if he can't land the punches he wants to land, he get frustrated. So I see lots of holes. I just got to do my thing, get myself in good shape, come in fit and injury free, and I still believe that I can beat him. Last time I went in injured and that, and I done my thing, I did my thing. I lost in the end, I could have quit in the second round like my coach wanted to, but that's not my style. Even one-handed, I was still fighting and I was still landing punches. I was still hit. Every time I hit him to the body, it was chipping a piece of him away. But once my shoulder went, it was a downhill struggle from then, but I'm not a quitter. That's a problem with a lot of heavyweights nowadays. They're scared to lose or they quit as soon as they get injured or something. They want to quit, but that's not me, man. I'll fight till the end. I'll go out on my shield. I'm a Spartan.
You mentioned the WBA regular title. Shannon Briggs was meant to box Oquendo for that title in South Florida. I was due to go out to that fight again. A bit disappointing from us and the media's point of view that fight hasn't taken place. Shannon Briggs, speculation and allegations that he has failed a drug test. What are your thoughts on that?
Firstly, I don't know the ins and outs of what's happening with Shannon Briggs and the drug test. I know he's a asthma sufferer or whatever. I don't know what to say about that, but it's a fight that I was looking forward to. And I really wanted Shannon Briggs to win. He's a guy that you can't hate the guy, can you? You can't help but want him to do well. For a man at his age to be in what he's doing and the energy that he brings and the excitement that he brings, I'd really love to see him become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world and have a couple of big fights and go out, go out, end his career on a high and make some money, because like I said, the energy he brings, the excitement he brings, you can't help but want him to do well, and he's a big supporter of mine as well, I speak to him from time to time and he's always, shouting my name and promoting me as well, posting picture of upcoming fights and his social media and stuff like that. When I fought Cesaro, he showed up to support me. He was at rings. He was at the ring. I'm on my ring walk. He came and was like, yeah, he's like, God, and beat his ass, this and the other. So I got the respect for him. You know what I mean? And like I said, for the man to be doing what he's doing at his age, you can't help but respect the man. You know what I mean? So it's just a shame. I knew he would have split a Fraser Quendo in 2-3 rounds, but that's a fight that I would really like. If Fraser Quendo won it, I'm looking to fight in America the end of June, early August, maybe, at the Terence Crawford belt in Omaha. That's a good fight. That would be a regular title. Whyte versus Fraser Quendo. I'm down.
Now, you mentioned
Eddie needs to get me these fights.
You mentioned the Terence Crawford bill. How close are you to sort of agreeing that and getting on the undercard?
Well, by Wednesday I should know exactly what I'm doing and when I'm fighting. Like, you know, I had a good conference call with Eddie. We all happy, everyone's on the same page. You know what I mean? You know, it's like I said, boxing's always changing and things is always changing, and I'm in that position where I'm so close. I just need to make the right moves now, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the right in between fight. We're trying to plan a big fight in case it doesn't happen. We're trying to put some fights in place and strategize a few other fights in case the world title doesn't come off, because obviously Parker's got mandatory in Yuri Fury, and then Wilder's got mandatory in Stavern. It's just whether we can maneuver ourselves around it. Obviously Joshua's got mandatory in Pulev, you know what I mean? Do I wait? Do I have a couple fights? You know what I mean? You know, I think the tattooed penis Lucas Browne is back from pizza delivery, so if he wants it, he can have it. That's a fight that I would really love as well. I heard he was doing gay porn for a minute as well. I hear he's back now, ain't he?
You mentioned Lucas Browne. He had a win on Saturday. Good to get him back. Obviously, the caliber of opposition may not have been the highest of ranked opponents, shall we say? But good from your opinion. Good to have him back.
It's good to have these guys back. You know, as a heavyweight, you need guys like that to have good fights. You know what I mean? Because one thing Lucas Browne will do, he'll show up and he'll try and fight. He'll try and come forward until they start busting his face up. You know. So you need guys. Listen, you can't have a big fight by yourself. I can't have a big fight fighting Eric Molina. No, it's just a routine fight that. But I can have a big fight with the likes of Lucas Browne, Derek Chisora. You know what I mean? Those kind of guys. You know what I mean? It's good that these guys is hanging around boxing. These guys is in boxing. You know, like Ali was lucky. He had the George Foreman, the Kenny Norton, Ron Lawyer. You know, he had all those guys to fight. You need people to have big fights.
With the fans and social media and people rightly so, having quite an important say, and fights being made on Twitter, people being very critical of opponents, is it right to say that you may be having a not as tough a test coming back? The fact that you haven't boxed this year, you're coming back off an injury. Do you need to get momentum before you look to challenge for world title honours?
Well, of course I'm going to have a warm-up fight because I've been out for a while, you know what I mean? Of course I need to have a warm-up fight, but I'm not looking for a pushover warm-up fight, you know what I mean? I believe I'm at a level now where I just need... I still need to do a lot of learning. I've had 7 amateur fights and 21 professional fights. You know what I mean? It's not a lot. Let's look at this. There's guys that's had like 80 amateur fights before they turn pro, 200, 300, 40. I've had 7. So I'm still learning, so... We're gonna fight for the world title. I'm just gonna keep winning, but it's an in-between period because the world title is so close. So I want to have some learning fights, but I don't want to fight bombs because there's no point in me fighting bombs because I'm not gonna learn anything. I can go and fight bombs and pad my record up to 29 and 1. That's not a problem. I can easily do it, but I don't want to do that. I want to have good fights. You know, I want to have good learning fights and interesting fights that get the fans talking and get the fans interested in these fights. And that's what I've done my whole career. Injured or not, I take these fights, experienced or not. Some of the guys I fight, if you look at the experience compared to mine, the experience is vast compared to mine. People forget that I'm still a raw novice. I've had under 30 fights, amateur and professional. When you put it on the grand scale of things and look at it that way, you see how much of a novice I am. But I learn on the job. You know what I mean? I got loads of heart, loads of courage, and I'll fight. I will show up and I will fight.
What's been going on then outside the ring with life? How's life been for you?
My life is good, man. You know, my life is good. You know, things is going alright. You know, life is got its ups and downs, but that's what makes life interesting. You know, you have to be able to take the downs as well as the ups. So when the ups come, you appreciate them more. So life has been good, man. You know what I mean? Been difficult. It's been difficult at times, obviously. You know what I mean? You know, because we're in a certain position, and then obviously, you know, working with Eddie can be difficult. but we always get the job done, and we always agree stuff and get stuff done. So, it's always difficult when you're close. The closer you become to the world title, the more difficult it becomes. You know what I mean? When you're coming up, you're fighting guys, you're knocking guys out, you're having 10 fights in 1 year, you're knocking guys out, things is getting good, and then you get to a level where things plateaus out a bit, fights become harder to make, people want more money, you're strategizing, you're planning, you're putting the building blocks in place, climbing the ranks. You have to take this fight, you have to fight that fight, then this guy don't want to fight, then that guy don't want to fight, and that guy want to fight, and then so it's a lot, it's a lot. But I just keep my head together, I just do my training. At the minute, like I said, I'm obsessed with trying to improve myself and physically and mentally, so I'm just working on myself, keep working, keep chipping away, and just keep building it up, man.
With all the things you've mentioned and the benefit of hindsight, what advice would you give your younger self at this point in time?
Start boxing earlier and go through the proper channel and stuff, I've lots more amateur fights and stuff, but there's one point I couldn't get fights as an amateur because I was knocking guys over left, right and centre, and then I couldn't get no fights. So I had to turn pro, I had to turn pro. I never had no choice. I actually got forced to turn pro, really, but I did my thing. I turned pro. I learned the job. After 2 professional fights, I was out in Austria sparring with Vitaly Klitschko. Came back. I had a couple fights. Went out sparring with Vladimir. I sparred with the likes of David Haye before I turned pro. Sparred David Price, Tom Dallas, the lot. John McDermott. I sparred all of those guys. Tyson Fury, Yuri Fury. That's all. I gained my experience from going to camps. I went to Manchester and I travelled caravan park and stayed up there and sparred by myself. That's been in Germany sparring with them, Belgium. I've gum, shield and glove will travel. Sparring like Steve Cunningham, all of those guys. And owning my boxing skills.
You've always struck me as someone that invests in themselves, whether it be financially or putting the time in. Do you think that's been the key to your success? In making that investment and going around, as you said, inspiring these people, paying for your travel.
A great friend of mine's, he's gonna watch this and smile because he knows he is. He always says to me, "You have to speculate to accumulate. If you don't speculate, you ain't gonna accumulate." So I believe in myself. I believe where I'm going and what I'm doing. So I just try and just invest in myself the best I can do. I can do and give myself the best chance and opportunity that I can give myself, man. Because in this game, no one ain't gonna give you anything. No one ain't gonna hand you anything. It's a hard game. It's a hard, lonely sport. One day you're up here, you lose, then you go all the way down here. One day the phones is ringing, you have a bad performance, so you lose, the phone start ringing. So you have to be mentally strong. You have to invest in yourself and believe in yourself. I've lost. I've had injuries. I've been out of the ring for a long time, but I keep coming back. And it takes determination and a lot of guts, man. A lot of self-belief,
Some big fights been made recently. We've obviously got Canelo v Golovkin coming up, which is a huge fight in September. What are your thoughts initially when that was announced?
I thought that's a great fight, man. 2 of the best in the world at the weight gonna fight each other. Smart money will pick Golovkin, but good hardcore boxing fans might pick Canelo because they both have power. I think Canelo's probably got a little bit better boxing ability than what Golovkin got. But Golovkin's got sheer power and he cuts the ring well and he's aggressive. He's so aggressive. So it's going to be a great fight.
What do you think of Floyd Mayweather's comments that Golovkin, quote, hasn't got any special effects? He does the one thing he does very well, and that's him. Floyd
talks a lot of shite, man. Listen, he's a great fighter, a very skillful fighter, but he talks a lot of shite. Golovkin does have a skill set. He might not be as quick as some of the other guys, but it's a man that knocks people out. These guys are throwing, like when he fought Lemieux threw a left hook, he caught and then came back with his own left hook and dropped him. Lemieux is a big puncher. He fought Kelbrook, who was faster than him, he tracked him down, he did what he had to do and break him down. He fought Curtis Stevens, same thing, left hook versus left hook. Curtis Stevens is a big, massive puncher, threw a big left hook, Golovkin tucked up. Nailed him. Listen, the guy Golovkin is a good fighter. Floyd talks a lot of crap. He don't want no one. What Floyd does? He's clever. He's trying to eliminate the competition because if Golovkin beat Canelo, Golovkin probably goes down as the pound for pound best fighter of the last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. So Floyd doesn't want that to happen. So he's gonna try and belittle him. It's a classic business tactics. He's just trying to quash the little guy down to always seem like the big guy. You know, I mean, nothing wrong with that. If he believes he's the greatest, he's highly competitive, and he wants to remain there. He doesn't want no one to get up there. Nothing at all wrong with that. You know, but it's a bit disrespectful for him to say something like that, because Golovkin does have you know what I mean, you know, whether he might not be the slickest guy or the fastest guy but he does do what he does good. He applies pressure. He's got a good jab. He works the body good. When he lets the body shots go, he really chops them in. And when he lets the right hand go, the chopping right hand, he's got good timing in it. And he puts so much pressure on these guys. He's broken so many good fighters just with the pressure he applies. He applies pressure. He sets trick. He lowers the guys in, lets them hit him, and then boom, he just nails them.
Who would your money be on? If you had to pick a winner out of that fight, who would you back to be victorious?
Man, I'd have a cheeky bet on both. I'll bet on both, man. I'll bet on possibly Canelo to win on points and bet on Golovkin to stop Canelo. You know, it's a good fight. It's like Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather, but without the power. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of fight, because no one really knew where Oscar was or where Floyd was. You know what I mean? It was one of those kind of fights. You know, it's like that. It's like you're thinking, oh, Oscar's got good style, very good boxing ability, but he's aging a bit. Floyd's got good boxing ability, but he haven't really fought no one like Oscar De La Hoya. So it's one of those kind of fights. I mean, Canelo haven't fought no one like Golovkin. Golovkin haven't really fought no one like Canelo. It's interesting. They both had so many fights and they're so far in their career, and they haven't fought anyone similar to each other. You know what I mean?
We had Floyd Mayweather here in the UK for Gervonta Davis defending his IBF world title against Liam Walsh. Mayweather speculated that week that the fight, his return, could potentially be close against Conor McGregor. Firstly, what are your thoughts as an event, as a spectacle? Does that interest you at all?
I think it interests me. It's a good event. It's a good spectacle. But listen, I got strong Irish blood in me, and it runs deep. I always back the Irish, and I always support the Irish, always. But I think it's an easy fight for Floyd Mayweather, because people say, oh, Conor's a southpaw, is this and is that. Floyd has beaten some of the best southpaws we've seen in the past 20, 25 years. And Floyd has beaten all of them. Easy. Look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao is a great fighter, great skills, Pacquiao's got good speed, good punch power, good movement, good foot. And Floyd made him look like it was easy work. Conor does carry power, but in MMA, the gloves are small and he's a little bit more awkward than the other guys, but this is boxing. Floyd's a master at defense and a master at nullifying the southpaw. He's beating every single southpaw he's fought, and they've been good southpaws. So I think Conor have got the kind of movement to do with Floyd Mayweather, or the boxing ability, or the boxing speed. But you know what? He's Irish, and there's one thing the Irish does have is a lot of heart, and they always show up to fight. Conor does have power, you know.
When we spoke to Ricky Hatton about it, he made the comment and statement that if he couldn't land a punch on Floyd Mayweather, and Canelo couldn't land a punch on him cleanly, what chance does that give Conor McGregor? So what are your thoughts on that? I think Conor can land punches, but Floyd's defense and the way Floyd ride these punches and stuff, and I think Ricky Hatton went into that fight wrong. I believe Ricky Hatton went into that fight with a wrong approach, but he did the best he could have done. But he's kind of right in what he says, to be honest. But I just think Conor is younger than what Ricky was. Ricky had more hard fight than Conor at that stage. I mean, Conor has had one hard fight really, is against Nate Diaz. 2 hard fights basically. So he may be a little bit fresher. He may have a little bit more life force in him, a little bit more energy than what Ricky Hatton had at the time. But Ricky had far superior boxing skills than him, you know. But it's boxing, man. You know, strange things happen. It's boxing, you know. It's boxing, you know. Boxing stuff happens, you know. No one would have thought that Klitschko would have Joshua that heavy in the fight. You know, no one would have thought that. Like, even Joshua himself was shocked, you know what I mean? It's boxing. We see it all the time. You can never say,
100% this guy's going to win or that guy's going to win. You know what I mean? Look at even Gamaliel Jones a couple of years ago when he fought Lebedev. Lebedev is a guy that heavyweights is scared of. I heard heavyweights said the guy hit them so hard they don't want none. And look, Gamaliel Jones went over to Russia and break him down. Made him quit in the 11th round. It's just boxing.
What fighters do you like watching? What fighters do you like, present, past? Who do you watch and study? Who do you take bits from?
I watch all different fighters at all different level because I look for different things in fighters. I look for skills, jab. You know, I look for different things on what they do. Like I'll go back and back and back. When Gene Tunney fought Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney came up with a strategy to beat, because Jack Dempsey was a ferocious fighter. So Gene Tunney knew that he needed to box him and move. Box him and move, box him and move. So I looked into that and I did a bit of research on it and I thought, okay, I look for different things in these fighters. You know what I mean? It's just, I take the strategy and the approach that Gene Tunney applied in that fight. I watched Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney. Again, Larry Holmes destroyed Jerry Cooney with a jab, and Jerry Cooney had a very good left hand. His left hook and his left jab was good. Larry Holmes just kept the jab, keep using the jab, you know what I mean, and kept the intensity up. I watched guys like Ron Lyle versus Muhammad Ali. You know, Ron Lyle was batting Muhammad Ali all over the place. Ali just stayed tight, hit him with little sharp punches, and he broke Ron Lyle down over the distance and stopped him late in the fight. You know what I mean? I watch, I'm modern day fighter. You know what I mean? I watch the likes of Carl Froch and that. Carl, not the greatest technical fighter, but he shows heart and he shows courage. You know what I mean? The fight against Jermaine Taylor, Arthur Abrams, those kind of guys. You know what I mean? It's the courage. You know what I mean? That he shows and the tenacity that he shows. You know. So I watch different fighters. Lennox Lewis. Watch uppercut, the jab, the movement. The likes of Mike Tyson, the aggression. You know what I mean? Likes of Big George Foreman, just sheer power. Likes of Michael Moore, Michael Dokes, those guys that had good boxing skills. Evander Holyfield, So I take different bits. Even some of the journeymans I watch and they do stuff, and because the journeymans, they're specialists in surviving. So I've boxed journeyman and learned stuff from them. I think, okay, this guy did good surviving here, or this guy surprised you. So I watch different fighters and I look for all the errors, early. I look for all the errors and I take different little bits. I think as a fighter, you can't just look at one fight and model yourself at one fight. I believe as a fighter, you need to take different bits from other fighters and look at whether it's footwork from this guy, jab from this guy, or this guy set up his right hand, or he looks at the right hand, or he slip. You know what I mean? I look for different things. Like, I love James Toney, I love Roy Jones, you know what I mean? But it's different style and different approach and stuff like that. Mike McCallum, Thomas Hearns, Hagler, all of those guys, you know what I mean? You have to look at. Because even, for instance, Thomas Hearns, Hagler, Hearns could only do one thing. He could only be aggressive. And then when he was aggressive, Aguilar was more aggressive and more determined than him, and he couldn't cope with that because that's all he knew what to do, was just to be aggressive and to try and knock people over. And then he met someone who didn't care about that and who took the fight to him, and he came unstuck.
Quite finally, I want to play a little word association game. So I'm going to give you a name, and I want you to say the first thing that pops into your mind about that person, whether it be a word, a sentence, whatever that thing is. So we're going to start off. I'm going to start you off with Derek Chisora.
Donkey.
Lucas Browne.
Penis.
Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn.
So.
Kugan Cassius.
You need to carry. No, Keegan. He's a curry chucker. There you go. He chucks curry.
I don't know if that's acceptable at the minute. Quite finally, before we go, I want to...
Finally, only 3 guys. Come on, man. You got to give a bit more than that.
I couldn't think of anyone else. What else is in my
The whole boxing really can think of 3 people.
Around the spot. Right,
wow.
Mike Goodall.
You're right, Dylan Chan. You're right. No. Mike Goodall is all right. But Mike Goodall, legend.
Boxing will stop when
Mike Goodall
retires. Boxing will
legend,
stop.
dedicated to the sport.
I've never known someone to work so hard.
Mike Goodall's dedicated to the sport. You know what I mean? He's a legend. You know, people don't get to see what happened behind the scene and all these guys work, arranging press conference, putting rings up, setting arenas up. And Mike Goodall he's been in the game for a long time, still going strong.
All right, O'Hara Davis.
Up and comer. Well, no, I need something better than that for O'Hara Davis.
What comes to your mind when I say O'Hara Davis? What comes into your head? It's meant to be quick.
I know.
To think about it.
Passionate. He's passionate.
Passionate, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work. I can't think of anyone else. I'm not digging anyone out, by the way. If I didn't select your name, or I did select your name.
Names are coming to my head. He just can't remember. Like, he sucks as a boxing journalist.
I can't work that out. It's debatable.
Go on. Alright, give me 5 more guys.
Alright, 5 more. Lawrence Okoli.
Tricky.
Gary Cornish.
Rubbish.
Ian Lewison.
You fat bastard. Da, 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 da.
Dave Allen.
Wait, there's a word I'm looking for. Igmatic? Is that the word?
What's the word?
Igmatic. That's it, isn't it?
Quite finally, I think I've done 5, but I'll do one more, last one. Tony Bellew.
That wasn't 5.
That was 5.
Tony Bellew is a bellend. Tony Bellew don't want to fight no one. All he wants to do is talk crap and don't want to fight no one. Why? Why is this? Why don't you want to fight no one? Why don't you want to fight no proper heavyweight? Why? He talks rubbish and they don't want to fight no one. Why is this? Why? This guy is here ready to fight and want to fight. Why don't you want to fight no one? He just wants to fight, David Haye again. Because David Haye's passed and David Haye's body's broken down.
He's just done David Haye and I didn't, what come to mind, I didn't even have to say his name.
No, I haven't done David, like, go on.
Go on, David Haye.
My toe. No, my Achilles. No, you're not a joke, listen, David showed heart in that last fight, man, but I think he's finished.
Thoughts on David Haye parting ways with Shane McGregor? Quite an acrimonious split, if you like. It was very, very maturely handled by both parties, reading the statements and stuff. What are your thoughts on it?
I think Shane McGregor isn't experienced enough for David. You know what I mean? I don't think he wasn't experienced enough because David's the kind of guy. That's why him and Adam Booth work so well. They're both control freaks, man. You know, but that's what also I think contribute to them breaking as well. They're both control freaks.
Who do you see training David Haye next?
Luke Campbell's training. I can't remember his name. Rubio something his name is. Sorry if I can't remember your name.
Do you think David Haye will fight again? Do you think that's a realistic goal and target? Do you think we're being optimistic in seeing him fight again this year? If that may be.
David probably fight Bellew December or October or something again. You know, he's really pushing his rehab and trying to get better quick. I think he needs to chill out and let his body heal quick and let his body heal properly before he comes back because you don't want his body to break down again. That's one thing David, good fighter, but he's been plagued with injuries over the years and that's been part of his downfall as well. He's always getting, every time he trains hard, he gets injured. You know, but it's difficult. When you're a big man and you're training, you know what I mean? And David trying to strip his body out so much and try and be so body perfect, he gets injured a lot.
Who would you like to see Tony Bellew in with next? If
Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte.
Wow.
But Bellew don't want none though. All he do is like, you're not in my pay level, blah, blah, blah. He'll make more, I can tell you one thing, Bellew will make more money fighting me than he would David Joseph Parker. 100%. Who's Joseph Parker? If you ask 100 people in the UK who's Joseph Parker, they would know who he is. You know what I mean? This is a man that struggled to sell out a venue in his country, New Zealand. He sold 18,000 pay-per-view or 16,000 pay-per-view. No one knows who Joseph Parker is. He wants a big fight. He's saying that he's above my pay grade. He's not. He'll make big money fighting me, but he doesn't want to fight. Because he knows if he fights a proper heavyweight that comes to fight, he'll get bashed up.
How many pay-per-views do you think yourself and Tony Bellew could do, though? Potentially, we know...
A minimum of 600,000.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah. I think, 750, I think, Haye Bellew done.
That's minimum. You know, it'd be a big fight. You know, it'd be a big fight. We'll probably talk somewhat smack to each other. Probably end up kicking off. You know what I mean? Because
could be a bit special.
yeah, it probably end up kicking off because the Bellin likes to talk crap. I've been known to talk a bit of crap here and there sometimes. You know,
It could be a big fight.
it's a big fight. Why not? It's a big fight. But he's talking rubbish because he's scared. He don't want to fight. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I'm above your pay grade." No, he's not. He's not above my pay grade. How much money was he making a few fights ago? Just because he fought Dave. Man, it's David Haye why he made this money. It's not because of Bellew. It's because of David. David the one that brought the value. Bellew never bring no value. What value did Bellew bring?
It takes two people to dance, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but David's the one that brings the value. He's saying, "Oh, I got stopped at British title level." He got bashed up by Dana Stevenson, and what's the other guy that stopped him? Dana Stevenson. There's another guy that stopped him as well. At light heavyweight.
I'll have to have a look on BoxRec off the top of my head.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Just like he's not even a proper cruiserweight much as to be a proper heavyweight. You know, you don't want to fight a proper heavyweight will come to fight. You know what I mean? I will bring it to Tony Bellew and I will beat him up. You know, David, he couldn't even stop David, and David was on one leg. All he had to do is throw 1-2 and run across the other side of the ring, and David wouldn't have been able to walk across the other side of the ring, and the referee would have stopped the fight. He's like, "Oh, I break David down. I knocked David out." He didn't do shit. David was injured going into the fight. The man ruptured his Achilles, and he still took him 5-6 rounds to get him out of there. It's rubbish.
One heavyweight and ex-opponent of yourself who has really captured the hearts and imagination of the British public is Dave Allen. He came up short quite recently for the Commonwealth title against Leroy Thomas. Big chance for Dave Allen on Sky to really push himself forward and get his hands on that Commonwealth title. Firstly, what were your thoughts on that?
At the time, I was a bit disappointed with Dave because I thought Dave could have won the fight. I thought he just needed to just be a little bit more nasty. Because Leroy Thomas is a good fight, but he was there for the taking. Dave was applying pressure, and he would beat him. I don't get me wrong, I thought Dave won the fight by one or 2 rounds. I thought Dave won, but he just wasn't. I don't know. That's what Dave is like. It's like there's something missing. There's you see me spar Dave Allen before, and the guy can fight. The guy is tough. He can take punishment, but he doesn't. On the day of the fight, something just doesn't click. You know what I mean? If that was me, you're that close to the Commonwealth title, just give it a go. He just wouldn't give it a go, would he? It's like he just wouldn't give it a go.
Do you think it's his routine in the build-up to the fights, maybe, that's putting him out? Or do you think it's something he's doing within camp that's making him peak at the wrong time, maybe? What do you think the logic is behind it causing this?
I'm a massive supporter of Dave Allen. I hated him before the fight, but I actually love the guy now. You know what I mean? I got respect for the guy, but I think he's got some long-lasting issues that he probably need to address. He probably need to speak to some sort of psychologist or whatever it is. Probably because there seems to be something just stopping him. I don't know whether. Also I think for him, it's just like he enjoys. Okay, I fought this guy, I fought that guy, I fought this guy. He takes it sort of like work, man. Like he takes it. I don't know what it is. It's just something. It's like I don't know what it is, because even when he fought Luis Ortiz, he just wasn't. He was defending, he was slipping, but he just wouldn't go for it. You know what I mean? You know, same thing with Leroy Thomas. He just wouldn't. He fought 2 guys before that. He blew them out. He blew them away. I was like, okay, Dave's turned the corner. He's turned nasty. He's knocking these guys out, and I thought he was gonna do the same thing in the Leroy Thomas fight, but he didn't. I don't know what it is. You know, sometimes it's little things. Boxing's a crazy sport, man. The emotion, the ups and downs, and the emotion you have on the night, sometimes the emotion you have in training and stuff, you know, it's a very, very crazy sport. So maybe he just can't handle the fight night. You know, maybe just the fight night, or maybe I don't know.
Hopefully he can come back from that. Eddie Hearn was quite critical with him in his post-fight interview with Kugan Cassius. So, yeah, hoping Dave Allen gets another chance and puts things right.
Yeah, I hope he does. You know, like I said, I want to see him do well. I'd like to see him have 1 or 2 fights and then fight Ian Lewis, and that'd be a good fight. But
I think that'd be a great fight.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really do hope he does well.
So we're expecting news regarding what's going to go on with you, potentially on the Crawford undercard, and we'll find out sometime next week.
We'll find out this Wednesday.
This Wednesday. It's always a great pleasure to get you on the channel. If there's anything you want to add before we go.
I don't know. You need to learn to drive. And Cougar needs to pull his finger out his bum and start getting to up north and that, man. You guys got to keep the thing running, man. When was the last time I did an interview?
Have you been missing?
6 months ago. I haven't been missing. I've been in training camp. You guys...
You ain't fought for that.
You know what it is? You guys...
You've been sitting around eating oysters.
You guys got too big now. That's what it is. You guys got big and got lazy now.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it is.
I spend the majority of my day.
I know it's you living that rich life. You putting that rich weight on. You just I remember once when I first met you, you was in shape. You're slim. Now you're just enjoying life too much.
That's when I was teaching you body shots.
I see Coogan driving a Bentley the other day. I see you guys is making money.
Coogan's a big star now.
Can I get a job with you? Like?
What is your sort of experience like in videography?
Well, I was once a porn star, so
what would be your porn star name?
Hang on. Dillian the Spine Buster Whyte. Yes, get in.
Spine Buster.
Yeah, that's right. You know what my slogan would be? You're gonna learn today. That's what it'd be.
That's so wrong on so many levels.
You're gonna learn today. That's what it'd be.
It just morphed into Gary Coleman again.
Bro,
so wrong.
You're gonna learn today. You best be careful. You might be learning after this interview, James. You better,
Dillian the Coleman Whyte, thank you very much. Give me some time today. Great to get you back on the channel, champ. Don't leave it another 6 months. Look forward to the
it's you guys. I'm here. I'm accessible. It's you guys got too famous now, man. You guys need to just
chillax. IFL and chill on that.
Yeah,
Dillian Whyte, thank you very much. Great to get you back on the channel.
You're gonna learn today.